Another movie that was a contender for my favorite movie of the year, and it might even still be my favorite movie of the year, Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the main leads are children. Not as a negative, this movie was geared for the kids, just like the last movie was geared for the female audience. Advertising told me it was, except that last 3 seconds where somebody picks up the phone and you kind of know who it is. When you're watching the movie, it's for anyone that's a fan of the franchise.
Here's the thing about this movie. Yes, it is a true sequel to the first two movies. There is a lot of fan service in this movie, and it does kind of rehash the first movie towards the end with the villain and everything like that. But as far as the fan service goes, the Easter eggs and things like that, I'm going to say this franchise in particular needed fan service and a rehash of
familiarity.
Getting back to basics of what we liked about this franchise. And look, there's a movie that came out a few years ago with a different cast and they're trying a different thing. Look, if you like that movie, good for you. I'm not going to judge.
For you, it didn't work.
For me, it's a shit movie.
Understood.
But that's the thing. And I don't have to watch that in conjunction with these movies. To me, I have Ghostbusters 1, 2, this movie. You know, and
possibly another one. You can build a franchise for a new generation.
To be honest, I'm a little confused about where they would go with it because they kind of wrapped up their little story, and then the post scene or the end, whatever, it led to say that it's not going to be about the kids anymore. But I don't know. But, and that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But all I know is right now, the middle kind of got dragged on a little bit too much because there's a little lull in the middle, but hey, that's going to happen. I thought the kids were going to be more annoying.
Agreed. They weren't at all. Well, not at all. But...
Dude, Grace McKenna, she's done a lot. If you look at her IMDb, she's done a lot of shit for her age. And she always pops up there. It's like, where I recognize her. Oh, it's Grace McKenna. I've seen her, blah, blah, blah. I thought she was wonderful in this. I thought she did a great job. I thought that one kid, the podcast guy, I thought he was going to be the shits, and he was fine. He was there.
Yeah.
He wasn't great, but
he didn't weigh it down.
Yeah, nobody like really weighed it down. I thought the Stranger Things kid, in their little Sonic, wherever they work at, the
little romance.
Yeah, I thought that was going to drag it down. No. Some of it, I mean, just a tidge,
not enough.
But it wasn't enough to detract the overall enjoyment I had of the movie. And then of course you get all the nostalgia stuff, right? Yeah. Now, I'm going to say this right now. If I want to put a negative spin on it, I'm going to say the same. I'm going to compare it to something, and that's going to be to Star Wars Force Awakens. Force Awakens had a lot of fan service, had a lot of nostalgia, had, Han Solo coming back and Millennium Falcon, and they basically rehashed the first movie with the Death Star.
But passing a lot of torches.
Yeah. This one, I kind of feel that was the same template that they used. You set them up like 30 years later. We're dusting off instead of the tarp blowing off of the Millennium Falcon, we get them lifting off the tarp of the Ecto-1. It's the spoiler alert, Gozer's back. As the villain from this one, just as in the first movie. We don't have Slimer, but we have Muncher. We don't have the giant Stay Puft Marshmallow. We have
little ones,
mini puffs, which my wife is already in love with those things. Which that was a nice little scene in the Walmart of all places. But when the mini puffs are going around, and that was straight out of Gremlins. That was a movie back in the 80s. It was called Gremlins.
Oh yeah.
But there was a scene where the Gremlins are just kind of killing each other, and they're just going crazy. They're bouncing off the wall. They're hitting each other. This felt very Gremlins-like in that scene. So again, not really a fan service to the Ghostbusters franchise, but
a nod to
another 80s franchise. So I enjoyed it, and I'm not gonna lie. There's a scene at the end with a character coming back. I
cried.
I do.
And to be upfront,
you have no connection with the.
This was my first Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, I believe.
And I still had the story was told so well that I had the emotional attachment, just like a diehard fan, like you would in that moment when that moment happened. And we'll just leave it at that for anybody that hasn't seen it.
I mean, if you watch the trailers, you could probably
figure out
what was on. Yeah. But again, a lot of the fan service was, and I don't think the other cameos that we got at the end of the movie. I don't think that really detracted. I don't think it was unnecessary. I think they didn't steal the show or anything like that. They didn't save the day or anything.
It was fitting.
They came in and they did a couple of lines here again for fan service, but yeah, everything worked so well in this movie for me. And that was such a relief because I wanted it to be good. I wanted them to get a win. And I think they got a win with this movie. And man, here's the thing. The difference, I compared it to Star Wars, The Force Awakens earlier. The difference between that franchise and this movie respects
the source material.
The source material, where it came from. It respects the franchise. It respects where everything came from and everything. And again, the director is the son of the original director. So he lived it. He was born in this.
He knows how it works.
He's in Ghostbusters 2. There's a scene in Ghostbusters 2 where they're at a kids' party, and the Ghostbusters doing parties because they can't get work anymore, and they're trying to get the kids to dance and everything. And the kid walks up to him and says, "My dad says you're full of crap." Well, his dad is the director, and now he's grown up. Now he's the director of the.
That's cool.
So there's a connection to everything. So yeah, there was an emotional hit to me that I wasn't really expecting at the end. So yeah, it was good. It's probably like I said, it's a toss up between Ghostbusters Afterlife and Spider-Man No Way Home.
For your top spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.